I'm Lauren Green, and you're in the strategy room. With only 45 days until Election Day on November 8th, both Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton have been hitting the campaign trail hard. But there seems to be a stark contrast in appearance and venues for the rallies. Some are noticing what might be an enthusiasm gap between campaigns as the candidates head into their first debate Monday. Here to weigh in are Democratic strategist Douglas Smith and Republican strategist Scott Miller. Welcome to you both.
Thank you.
Hey.
All right, Douglas, let me start with you, because with the enthusiasm gap that we're referring to is the massive crowds Trump is drawing versus these more intimate settings and crowds for Clinton. So what do you make of this?
Well, look, I think first and foremost, where the gap counts is on Election Day, and that's where I think Hillary will pay off. If what it came down to was crowd size, Meghan Trainor would be president. I think Donald Trump is entertaining. There is no doubt about it. I think what the Clinton campaign is doing is going to more intimate environments, because that is where she can best connect with voters, get out her message and her detailed policies that she wants to talk about. Their goal is not to fill stadiums. Their goal is to finish out these 45 days, continuing to pound home the message of why she is ready on day one. I think her base is truly enthused. I mean, one of the interesting things about the people that are voting for Hillary Clinton is they have been with her for so long. And so while they may not be coming out to fill stadiums, I wouldn't by any means read anything into that beyond that at all. I mean, they truly are enthused. Just because they're not going to a stadium doesn't mean they're not excited about Hillary Clinton.
Scott, Douglas brings up a really good point, because the Clinton campaign officials have always said, that Clinton actually does very well in intimate crowds, and we've heard this more and more times, that Hillary Clinton relates to people on a more personal level. So is that a good strategy for her?
Well, and unfortunately, you can't win on November 8th with an intimate crowd of hard supporters. I mean, she's going to have to reach out and appeal to a greater group. What you see in the Donald Trump rallies is the tip of a really large iceberg, which is a movement. He recognizes that. He doesn't say, they're here to see me. He really says, I'm the voice of a movement, and it is a big movement.
Yeah, you know what, Douglas, this is very important, too, because Joe Trippi, who is a Democratic strategist, he said crowd size speaks to the energy of your base. And right now, Trump's base has more energy than Hillary's. I mean, do you agree with this? Is this true?
Well, I think Joe Trippi should know that's actually not true, since his candidate, Senator Sanders, got out a lot of people in those audiences. But when it came to the time to vote at the ballot box, it didn't translate. I think Hillary's getting that message out. I mean, the power of the internet, the power of TV, her message is being beamed out to tens of thousands of people. She doesn't need to be in a stadium of chanting people for her message to get out there. I think what she needs to do is stick to her plan. And her plan is to continue to pound home why she is ready on day one, why Donald Trump is not, and that Donald Trump is clearly unprepared and ill-equipped to be the President of the United States. It's all well and good to fill a stadium, but you got to be able to do the job and to be honest about it. And he has not shown to be able to do either one of those.
Scott, one of the things that's very important to remember is that even whether there was a crowd of 500 or 50,000, the cameras are still there, and they can only show so many people. So whether or not the number of people may not make a difference. And also, Donald Trump is taking the opportunity to point out, the difference by sending email blasts to supporters and reporters. So is this a bad idea?
Look, Donald Trump is not a typical politician. Of course, he doesn't have the typical politician's preparation for Election Day in any way. And this is not a typical political movement. Roughly 84% of the American people, men and women, young and old, every demographic, really feel that there's a group of elites in Washington, D.C., Democrat and Republican incumbents, lobbyists, big banks, big unions, big special interests, big business, and the big media. And they rig the system for their own benefit. The American people believe that, so they're looking for somebody new. And somebody new is not going to be a typical politician. He's not going to do typical political things. And as to Joe, who's a great consultant, and Bernie Sanders, who was a terrific candidate, really only one vote counted in that election, and that was Debbie Wasserman Schultz.
Oh, come on now. Come on now. Okay. You can do better than that. You can do better. I know it's a Friday, but you can do better than that.
All right. Well, we'll have to leave it for the next discussion, though, unfortunately. Thanks so much, Douglas and Scott, for joining us.
Okay.
Thank you.
And for complete coverage of the 2016 election, go to foxnews.com. I'm Lauren Green, and thanks for watching.